Hey everyone, we'll be starting shortly, getting everything set up before we begin. Okay, that's all saved, that's fine. Everything seems connected and stable. My voice has been picked up, yeah. Alright, so, hi everyone. Welcome to another stream of the Wright Trilogy. Yes! Where we had left off last time, we had explored more of the mountain, done some interrogations, or investigations, or whatever you want to call them. We're playing as Phoenix again, which is great. And we ended up finding out that, Maya still hasn't been found. She's somewhere here, along with Godot was here as well for some reason. He was here before anyone else. Like, he just suddenly appeared. And then we were like, oh, there's a lock on this door. Let's bring in the suspect to see if she can open it. Because apparently she can. So she came this way. And then there was an earthquake. And of course, they didn't assign any sort of guard force or anything to her. So she was able to just go away. Because Edgeworth was too afraid. But we managed to find her. She went to the lock room. Phoenix suggested that she was going there to free her if she was inside because the earthquake could cause the whole thing to collapse. Unfortunately, when we got there, we found out that wasn't the case. She actually put more locks on. So, yeah. If I recall correctly, I gave a guess last week that the person that we're going to talk to right now that has put more locks on isn't the right one, and it's a doppelganger. But who knows? Maybe it's different. Maybe it's a ghost. Ooh. But yeah, we'll find out. I think we're about halfway through this case at this point, but we shall see. Without further waffling, let's begin today's stream. I also need to start opening the thing first because I forgot about that. Wrong thing. There it is. Hooray. So, sound, voice, showing. Showing on stream. Cool. We can just go straight in. Continue. Part 3-2, investigation. Oh, there's more locks. One of those locks isn't on straight. Oh, I hate that. Like, the rest of them are straight. Why isn't that one? Oh, well. Alright, gotta start doing voice acting again. Right. Is this what Godot was talking about? Yeah. The trick locks. Now then, Iris, please remove these at once. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm afraid I can't. It's not possible for me. What? During the earthquake, when the cavern was in danger of caving in, Iris escaped. And I know there was only one lock when I last came here. So, you are saying that you cannot undo the new locks? Yes. If only I was stronger! Edgeworth, how are you feeling? You look a little pale in the face. Like you want to talk with your face all green? Miles, Edgeworth. Oh, go and get some fresh air. I'll watch over the suspect. You go and get a grip on yourself. Don't be ridiculous. I'm perfectly fine. There's no telling what sort of mistakes you could make in your current state. And I need to remember how to do the voices. Go and get some rest. That's your only concern for now, Miles Edgeworth. Understood. I'll handle the investigation in the garden. We take care of things here. Edgeworth. He's got so much pride that he's probably off crying in a corner of the garden. Pride is simply another trap that hinders us in our lives. That said, one must have pride to be effective on the job. Says you, the most prideful person here, but whatever. At any rate, it seems that this is where we must part ways, Phoenix Wright. I'm going to stay here and see if I can help solve these bothersome puzzles. I see. Well, thanks for your help. Now then, do you mind if I ask you a few things, Iris? No, not at all. It's an antique dresser. Don't you dare open it, Phoenix Wright! I know how Maya feels when I tell her not to touch things. What a pity. It's just full of old clothes for the acolytes. I thought we weren't opening it. I'm from the prosecutor's office. I can do anything. Yeah, you can do anything except stand up to a 9-year-old girl. We've had this discussion before, but... this door. When I was here earlier, there was only one lock. Now there's 5 of them. With those chains, it's almost as if they're guarding something within that cavern. I've never seen locks quite like these before. I have. I've seen locks and chains just like these before. They look just like the ones that guard a person's secret during a psych lock. I wonder if these locks are guarding something too. The truth. Dark secrets in the dark cavern. Why did you make a run for it, Iris? I'm sorry. I heard the inner temple had been severely shaken by the strong earthquake we had. I was so worried, I just had to come and see. In other words, we didn't run away to escape the law. At least we're clear on that. I can't tell you how relieved I was when I saw the sacred cavern was alright, but... But what? Then I saw these chains here. I saw all these extra locks that someone had put on the sacred cavern's door, and... Who in the world would do something like this? These trick locks are sacred treasures of the Korean tradition. There are hundreds of ways to set them apart, or set them up. That's why only the person who set the lock can open it. And you aren't the one who set these locks? I don't think it's that simple, Franziska von Karmer. When we were here the first time, there was only one lock. But now, somehow, there's 5 of them. What does that mean? It means that they're spirit locks, that they're actually made from spirit energy. And whatever's on the other side is probably the one that's locking themselves in or something. I don't know. These are just wild guesses I'm throwing out. It means that someone wanted to secure the place even more. And they wanted to secure it before you got here, Iris. Presumably because they wanted to make sure Maya couldn't get out. This means that Iris can only open one of these locks, the first one. Yes, that's correct. What? Iris, try to think, please. Isn't there any way around this? Well, like I said, there are hundreds of different ways to set these locks. I suppose if I went through each combination with each one, I could remove them. But it will take time, won't it? Yes, about a day if I had to guess. A whole day? Well, that's better than leaving the locks in place. Will you do this for us? Sure, I'll do whatever I can. Gotta wait another day? Hang in there, Maya. You're gonna have to call on your inner strength now. And then she was dead. You know what, Iris? There's still one thing I don't quite get. And what might that be, Phoenix Wright? I think it's obvious. Iris, on the night of the murder, where were you? Please, Iris, don't give me that look. You told us that you were in your room in Hazakura Temple at the time of the incident. But you were seen the same evening at the inner temple. And then, you were spotted at the scene of the crime in Hazakura Temple too. Being spotted at both Hazakura Temple and the inner temple is as if you were... Well, Iris, I think it's about time you told us the truth. Let me guess. 5 locks. I knew it. Oh no, it's 3. I was close. He says it. I knew it. There's something going on here that we don't know about. Would you take a look at this for me, Iris? Yow! The locks are far more important at this moment, don't you agree? She's right. I'm gonna have to hold off on asking her about things for now. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Imagine if I tried to show her this and then I still get whipped. Like, it starts to fade in, but then I get immediately whipped and, like, Francisca's like, what the hell are you doing? Stop! She's gotta do this! First. I think I need to wait, because I don't think I have any information, because we literally just started this point, so... Out we go. I'm finally getting to the bottom of this case. I can count on Iris to break those locks, so I should try to gather more clues. From Sister Bikini, Edgeworth, Gumshoe, and Pearls. Anything in the garden? The corpse, or I said the corpse. The cops are still combing the place. They look pretty nervous. I'd be nervous too. It's got to be a tough job. Oh, there he is. Especially with someone giving you the evil eye the whole time. How could I have done that? Wow, I can't believe it's still bothering him. Edgeworth? Ah! Hey, don't you dare run away. What do you want, Wright? What do I want? If you came here to laugh at me, then get it on with. Go on, laugh away. I was ready to hug it out with him, but he's just the same prideful Edgeworth. You went back to the Criminal Affairs Department, right? You said you wanted to look into something concerning Iris? Yes. And thanks to what I've found, I was reminded of something terrible. You guys are putting a lot of effort into the investigation of the garden here, huh? There's a high chance that the actual scene of the crime. That's why. You mean because of the writing in blood and the talisman in the snow? Exactly. As you know, these things couldn't have been planted here after the murder. But surely you don't suspect Maya, do you? We have to treat everyone as a suspect, Maya as well as Iris. It's our job, right? So, I guess you still haven't gotten over your fear of earthquakes. No, though thankfully my nightmares have stopped. But still, if the ground gives even the slightest tremor, I find myself short of breath. 17 years ago, we were still school kids at the same elementary school. We're gonna have this again? Edgeworth found himself in the middle of a murder. It all started with that big quake that hit the courthouse. The DL6 again. Yes, I was stuck in the elevator with my father, who was a defense attorney. We were deprived of oxygen and we passed out. That's when it happened. That single gunshot shattered my whole life. I lost everything that day, all because of that earthquake. My dream, my family, and myself. It's been more than 17 years now. And that case was finally resolved 2 years ago, right? Yes, because you were the one that solved it, Phoenix. You'd think I don't know that? I was there. But it was such a shock. I never imagined I could be so wrong about myself and my life. And then I went on a sabbatical for like an hour and pretended I was dead. And then I became back a better person. But apparently I've lost that. I'm sorry, Wright. There's nothing else I can say. Not after you chose to become a lawyer for my sake, and not after you saved me. Edgeworth, you're stronger than you think, so no more of this self-pity, okay? Why didn't he say that verbally instead of in his head? There was something that bothered me about her from the moment we've met. I felt like I've seen her somewhere before. No, wait. Not somewhere. I felt like I had seen her in court before. So you went back to the Criminal Affairs Department to look for her file? Yes. I've checked over every case file I've ever worked on. And I was right. I had seen her face before, 6 years ago. 6 years ago? It was my first appearance in court, and as cases go, it was my worst nightmare. So, who is she? I'm sorry, Wright. I can't give that information away to a member of the general public. What? Why not? It might be the crucial piece of the puzzle that solves the case, and I'm not a part of the public. I'm a lawyer, same as you. The woman I knew was the daughter of a jewelry store owner. She had nothing to do with Iris in the Hazakura temple. And neither did the case. No, that woman is completely unrelated to this murder. Unrelated? Yes, I can say that with complete confidence. You're wrong, Edgeworth. She's totally related to this case. I need to fill Edgeworth in. I need to explain the connection between Iris and the woman Edgeworth knew. Objection! I have evidence! What do you think about this, Edgeworth? Sorry, Wright. You're a defense attorney and I'm a prosecutor. It wouldn't be right for us to discuss so intimately. Or think so intimately. I mean, I don't want to hug or kiss you or anything. But you're acting for the defense in the trial today. Alright, well, I guess I need more information. Or more evidence. Suspension bridge. It's weird that there's no one around all of a sudden. It sure gets quiet up here in the mountains when you're all on your own. Speaking of alone, I guess I should go back out to the shack just down this path. Maybe I'll find Larry there sulking again. February 9th. Oh, Mr. Nick! Pearls, what are you doing down here? Nothing. What about Mystic Meyer? Is she alright? Well, we don't know yet. Oh, I see. Hey, what do you think you're doing here, Nick? Larry? This is the loser shack where losers get together and delude themselves. This is the what? Hey, we find comfort in each other's failures, okay? You got a problem with that? Look, Mr. Nick, Mr. Larice did a picture of me. That's, great, Pearls. We're going to gather firewood now. We're going to be cooking some half-rotten potatoes over a miserable little campfire. Stay out of my way. I don't believe this. Why can't he try getting fired up over becoming a better man? No one believes a word I say anymore. Listen to me, Pearl. You don't want to trust this kind of guy, okay? He'll only let you down. Oh, Mystic Meyer. Larry, is there something you want to tell me about this picture? I got nothing to say to you, Nick. My life's out here now, with Pearls, the two losers, cooking I said pizzas, potatoes together forevermore. What am I going to do with him? Alright then, what do you think about this picture, Pearls? I think it's really well drawn. I can't draw at all, so I think it's really amazing. See, someone appreciates it. It's tough getting the flames to look like that, you know? It's supposed to be Sister Iris flying through the air, isn't it? I love it. It's like a dream, a wonderful fantasy. No, it wasn't a dream. She really flew. I'm telling you, Iris really flew that night. But, Mr. Larice... Not you too. Please don't look at me like that, Pearl. Don't look at me like I'm some kind of nutcase, I beg of you. Guess the picture really is a representation of what Larry thinks he saw. Okay, so I was half asleep when I was there that night. But I was wide awake after the lightning struck. And I saw what I saw. It was exactly like I drew in the picture. And it looks like I don't have any choice but to take this sketch at face value. Hey, what's with the look of doubt on your face? Pearls? Yes, Mr. Nick? I've been meaning to ask you about the night of the murder. Where were you and what exactly were you doing when it all happened? I was just, well, I'm just a kid, you know? I'm sure it doesn't really matter what I was doing, does it, Mr. Nick? Sorry, Pearls, but yes, it does. You've been missing for like 3 to 4 days. On the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Mr. O'Nim's room reading a book together. But Mr. O'Nim was murdered and you, Pearls, were at the inner temple. Just what exactly happened that night, Pearls? 5 locks. I'm really sorry, Mr. Nick. Oh, it was a bit delayed, but I was close. Oh, it really is a 5 lock. I've been a bad girl. Don't say it like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hers is differently laid out, but I guess it's because she's such a shorter character that if they were in its normal position, one of the locks would be covering her face. That's why I'm being punished. What are you talking about, Pearls? My spiritual power, it has disappeared. What? Her powers have disappeared? What do you mean your powers have disappeared, Pearls? It's all over for me. A spirit medium who can't channel spirits is like a painter who can't paint. Hey, what are you looking at me for? Pearls, did you try to channel someone's spirit right here at the Hazakura Temple? Tried but failed, perhaps? Way to go, Nick. You made her cry. That's really cruel of you. Just as I thought. I'm gonna have to break her sight locks to get the truth out of her. Okay, so because he said she failed, that might not mean that she's lost her powers. It might mean that someone else was channeling whoever she was trying to. Maybe? Look at me, I'm a lawyer. Pearls? It's no good. She's in no condition to look at anything for me now, right now. What if I give her a treat? I can give her this hard candy. It's not hard candy, but... I guess I'll talk to you later then. More investigation is probably needed. Back to the temple. I wonder if Sister Bikini is back at Main Hall yet. I haven't seen Gumshoe around for a while either. Maybe they're having a cup of tea together somewhere? I bet Gumshoe is Sister Bikini's type. Oh, God. Oh, hi. Why do you look so traumatized? Well, what's the damage? How is the sacred cavern? Looks like it survived, but we have a bigger problem now. I told Sister Bikini all about it. About the 5 locks that were stopping us from getting inside the sacred cavern. But who could have done that? The only people who know how to set those trick locks are those of the Korean tradition. We have Iris at the sacred cavern trying her best to open them for us right now. Actually, there's something I've been meaning to talk to you about, Sister Bikini. Oh, yes. We were in the middle of a chat, weren't we? Yes, you were telling me how the Master of Korean disappeared 17 years ago. I want to know why Misty Faye suddenly appeared at this temple. It was about a week ago when Mystic Misty arrived. After she showed me the talisman that proved she was the Master, she said, "Someone is trying to destroy the Korean tradition's main family line. I'm here to put a stop to them." Okay, rather dramatic. Someone was trying to destroy the main family line? There's only one heir on the title of Master at any time, and it's usually the eldest. That child becomes the new Master of the Korean, and her daughter's the main family. All the other mediums becomes branch family members with no hope of controlling the clan. Because, you know, we like to be traditional and force people into set roles. That's why nothing has changed throughout the history of the clan. Branch families always have and always will plot to erase those of the main family. Because, you know, the inequality that we treat them with is just boggles the mind, and it's seen as an okay thing. Is this the power of the master worth that much bloodshed? You believe in the technique, don't you, Mr. Wright? You know its power's real. Yes, I do. It's been 2 years since I first met Maya. In that time, I've seen her channel the spirits of the dead plenty of time. I nearly said of dead plants. During the mass case and during the Maggie Bride's trial too. She's also done it plenty of times before then. Thanks to Maya, Mia's always on hand to help me out when I need her most. Instead of allowing me to do it through my own skill, I have to rely on the dead to give me the answers. The grain technique was made a huge difference to the world, you know, even though it's not seen as real. I mean, the ability to commune with the dead, that's true psychic power, you know. Okay. Psychics, as far as I'm aware, aren't tied to ghosts. They just have psychic powers, you know, like telekinesis, telepathy. Communing with the ghosts is like a medium's thing, which is not psychic powers. That's like a separate thing. It's like soul energy and whatever. Those of the tradition have always been there behind every important leader. That doesn't sound like it could be overused. Or wrong. Who wouldn't respect such a tremendous skill? I suppose so, but with all that power and influence, I kind of expected you to already be rich by now. Are you saying we're poor, Mr. Wright? Oh, you're very direct, aren't you? You don't believe in it anymore, you see, all because of one little mistake. A mistake? What mistake? It was 17 years ago. It was when everything came crashing down because of one case. All because of that incident. That incident? Is she talking about what I think she is? I'm sure the records still exist if you're interested. Look, locked up, of course. It was called the DL6 incident, the name of that file. The DL6 incident, I knew it. Again! They're starting to bring this back in again? The DL6 incident. I know it well. I handled a related case just about 2 years ago. Ah, that's right. So it was you who's the defense attorney in that case. The murder that took place 17 years ago. It was the first time in the country's history the police ever used a spirit medium. The idea was to channel the victim's spirit to learn the identity of the murderer, and the medium who performed the channeling was Misty Faye, Maya's mother. Through Mystic Misty's channeling, the name of the certain man surfaced. Armed with that evidence, the investigators were spurred into action. But that man, who was found not guilty, wasn't he? That's right, he was. And the case remained a mystery. In other words, we failed. It was the first case the world had ever seen the Korean tradition openly involved in. It was all over the media. The public, the judiciary, the people of Korean village. Everyone judged her. Everyone said Mystic Misty's powers were a sham. And then she just disappeared, vanished, while everyone still thought of her as a fraud. Which is odd, because if she physically changed her body into the man, then wouldn't that just kind of prove it? It'd be like, oh no, it actually is a spirit. But it's like, no, because it was wrong, none of it is real. It doesn't matter how much she transformed. But I know the truth. Mystic Faye's spirit channeling wasn't a sham at all. Of course it wasn't. And since you managed to reveal the truth, we're finally making a comeback and getting into power. We want to be the one that secretly guides our nation into the next world. Because apparently they were behind freaking politicians from what she was saying. She wants to be behind someone in power or whatever. The Korean tradition is starting to recover at last. But with a new master wielding the power of the clan. Does she mean Maya? The spirit power of the channeling technique is in the blood. Maya's told me the exact same thing before. We, the women of the Fae clan, have always been spirit mediums. It's because of the power to communicate with spirits flows strongly through us. According to Maya, only women in the family have the power. But you know, power is sexist apparently. The main family's bloodline stems directly from Mystic Amy. But with each new generation, only one daughter becomes the new master. And the ones who don't become branch families, right? That's right, and it's always the cause of tragedy, so we don't know why we don't get rid of it if it causes more problems than it actually helps with. You know, Maya had a sister too, an older sister named Mia. Oh yes, I've heard of her. What? You know about Mia? Of course. She became a lawyer in the hopes of discovering what happened to her mother. And lost her life. As a result. Do you know what Mystic Mia was rumored to have said? She said it wasn't only because of her murder that she became a lawyer. She also didn't want to fight with her sister over the leadership of the tradition. What? Really? Yeah. Well, she saw what happened to her own mother, Mystic Misty, as she grew up. I guess Mystic Mia got tired of seeing all the rivalry between her mom and aunt. That's right. Mystic Fae had an elder sister. Misty Fae had an elder sister too. And Misty, having superior powers, managed to usurp the Master's seat from her. Mystic Misty's sister is Mystic Morgan, as you probably know. Oh, yeah. Morgan. There's a name I know well. It was a year ago now at Maya's home, Kareen Village, where she had a stupid amount of hair. What she did was terrible. It was all so she could make her own daughter the next master. I suppose if you know about Mystic Morgan's daughter, then you must have already realized that Iris... Huh? Iris? What's Iris got to do with any of this? The Iris is Mystic Morgan's daughter. Iris is what? Is she kidding me? Iris is Morgan Faye's daughter? Did you just say that Iris is Morgan Faye's daughter? Why is it going to be said 3 times? Oops, I thought you already knew. Sounded like you met one of Mystic Morgan's daughters already. I have. I know her very well. Oh? Yes, Pearly Faye. But I always thought that she was an only child. You jest, that child, she's Mystic Morgan's. I had no idea. Mystic Morgan? Well, she's in prison now, isn't she? Yes, ever since she was found to be a co-conspirator in a murder case last year. She's just shrouded in darkness. It was all done to set Pearls up as the next master. I see. So I've been wrong all this time. Mystic Morgan had 3 daughters, not 2. There's a 3rd one? Wait, what? 3? Yes, Iris, her twin sister, and Mystic Pearl. What? Twin sister? Oh, didn't you know? It all happened 20 years ago. So it's all basic knowledge. 20 years ago, Phoenix was like 6. After the clan leadership was taken from her by her sister, Mystic Morgan's life crumbled. It wasn't many years later that Kareen's reputation hit an all-time low. Then Mystic Maya's husband realized his wife would never become the master. He left her in the village, taking their twin daughter with him because, you know... Ooh, she's not the leader of the clan. Ooh. What does that give her? All this wealth? No. It's just, she would be the leader of a family. Ooh. How awful. He was a jeweler, you know. In the end, he remarried, and that's when it happened. He decided to give one of his girls up to be looked after by us here at the temple. That was Iris, you see? It's unbelievable. If Iris is a twin sister... Could it be... could you tell me one more thing, sister? What was the name of Iris' sister? I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I just can't remember. All I can recall is that her father was a jeweler. Well, that's a clue, I guess. Jeweler. Thank you very much. You've helped to clear up a lot of details. Pearls had 2 older sisters, huh? Yes, that's right. No doubt it was all because of Mystic Morgan's anger toward the main family. Anger? What do you mean? Her twin daughters were taken from her by her jeweler husband. They're just calling her the jeweler husband. But even though that could destroy her dream about a child of hers would be one day lead the clan. That's why she had pearls? It seems that the incident here was a result of Mystic Morgan's anger. He was able to break free of the bars that confine her. So Iris has a twin sister. Shoot, the plot thickens. But this information will be useless unless I flesh it out a bit. I need to ask more info. Or ask more questions to get some more info. So Pearls has multiple sisters. Well, if the other sister is who I think it is, then, you know, she has one other sister. But, yeah. Oh, she's now added here. And Morgan. Morgan Faye, question mark, question mark. Well, she's got to be at least old enough to have a kid, so she's at least in her 40s. Is in solitary confinement. Morgan Faye's daughter and Iris' twin sister. Her father deals in jewelry, apparently. Iris had a twin sister. That's really all I know about her. That and the fact that she was taken away from her mother by the jeweler father. I don't have any idea where she is or what she's doing now. I could tell her, but she'd probably have a colony and a half. When I think about it, I do feel kind of sorry for Mystic Morgan. It wasn't her fault that her sister was more powerful spirit medium, but it was her fault that she took it so badly. Mystic Morgan just couldn't compete with her sister. Must have been really tough on her. Even so, that doesn't excuse all the things she did. Exactly! No, of course not. Bibby-dibby. Ah! What are you doing with that? Give it back at once. I can't. This is evidence. This really must have been one very important item. Honestly, it's like the end of the world. I've already talked about this. Blah, 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 blah. Alright. I guess to the courtyard. Maybe Gumshoe's there. I knew it. Sounds like someone's happy. What tune is that they're humming? Hi. No motive, no crime. No motive, no crime. Sing it with me. No motive, no crime. I remember when we used to search in the channeling room in Karain. Whoop, I love my job. Who cares if the clues I find are no good? That's not what investigating is all about. Investigator investigates with the love of investigating. It's a passion. Good cases we have, good cases we've lost along the way. I would have never have guessed that Gumshoe was into reggae. Oh, it's reggae? I don't know how to do reggae. Every case has got to be airtight. Every case has got to be airtight. Hey, pal. Huh? Who, me? How long have you been here? Been there? I just got here. Oh, okay. So what are you up to, detective? I'm investigating, pal. I made a promise to Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth. I promised I would find the real murder weapon. The real murder weapon. That Bob's thing turned out to be a false lead, right? I'm giving him my best shot here, but I still haven't turned up any clues. I just found these weird scraps of paper. Looks like a letter or something. Doesn't seem to have to do with anything with the case, though. A letter? So, how's the investigation going, Detective Gumshoe? I don't know if I should be telling you, pal, but I guess it can't hurt. Looks like the murder took place in the Inner Temple Garden. And they're taking that bloody writing on the Latin pretty seriously back at HQ. What? You mean? I don't have the details, pal. All I know is, if you don't find Maya down in the Sacred Grove, or Cavern, we're gonna be faced with one ugly situation. What kind of ugly situation are we looking at here? You got me. I don't know. They're not my words, pal. Then who said it? Mr. Godot. Godot? What did he mean by that? How about that letter you found? Don't remind me, pal. I'm just busting my gut trying to find the murder weapon. And all I find is some burnt up old letter, which I can actually read. Be careful. Once night should be there. As soon as you find the light. Oh, hear the. Is that find or hear? As soon as you hear the light something out bell, probably lights out bell. You must channel her spirit. Leave everything up to her. Burnt up old letter. Yeah, it was in that incinerator right outside the inner temple. The incinerator? I knew it. I knew it wasn't I wasn't imagining thing. There was snow on the incinerator when I first saw it. But after the incident, the snow had melted away. Which means someone used the incinerator on the night of the murder. What's up with you, pal? Got it right here if you want to take a look. Can I? Do you mind? Sure, go nuts. I don't want it, pal. You can have it. It's all spirit mediums and master stuff. I bet it's got no relation to the case. Right. Spirit mediums? It's got to be important if it mentions spirit mediums and masters. I better give it a good looking over and some serious thought. Make sure you chuck it out in the trash when you're done. Littering's a crime, pal. Gumshoe, come on, man. Yeah, be careful. Once night falls, should be there. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything to her. 1 of 3. Her name is... She is our ally? The whole... something. Here's a picture of her. Use it when you channel her. I know you can do it. Once this is, burn the... Also make... Tell anyone about this letter. Bravely roast the master in the... fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. Bravely. I started having a mind blast here. I'm like, whoa! Was this given to Pearls? Because this single line makes me think that she thought this meant something completely different. She probably took it as gravy roast. And thought that she had to throw gravy on the picture of the master. Huh. Probably should show this to her. Interesting. So, what do you know about the real murder weapon so far? Well, it wasn't the sushi shito that was found impaled in the victim's body. Mr. Edgeworth proved that in court today. Yes, that's true. In which case, it must have been another blade. And that's what you're running around like a headless chicken looking for now? Huh. Yeah, and man, is it tiring work. But let me tell you something, pal. I'm no chicken. We got the feathers of forensics in our cap these days. We're using the department's secret weapon on this. Secret weapon? Is it a laser? What's the secret weapon of yours? Want to know? You gotta think scientifically, okay? Oh, excuse me. The murder weapon was a sword. Swords are, scientifically speaking, made of metal, right? Jesus. Any questions so far? No. I think I know what he's going to say, but I'll let him look smart. So what's the perfect tool for the job? Ta-da! A metal detector! Raise your hand if you didn't see this coming from a mile away. Well, you want to give a scientific investigation a go? Huh? Me? I've been using this thing for hours now. It gets pretty boring after a while. Why don't you give it a try? I don't know. Should I help Detective Gumshoe or not? Sure. Come on, pal. It's good fun, I'm telling you. All right, then. I guess I'll give it a go. Like I said, this is the department's most advanced gadget, the absolute best. It's so sensitive you could make it cry. It's so high-tech you could skydive off of it. Oh, bother. So, now I'm going to tell you how to use it. It's possible the real murder weapon is around here somewhere, right? Sure, that's how we're trying to find out, or what we're trying to find out. Right, so let's first turn on the detector. That's the sound of the metal detector's signal bouncing off something metallic. Next. Move the detector around the front of this courtyard and give a look-see, pal. Don't worry, this baby will let you know when you hit something that's metallic. When that happens, press enter to give the area a good hard stare. What are you talking about? What's enter? This thing picks up metallic objects that are hidden from the eye, too. Take a good look around and everything that seems suspicious, okay, pal? Look, a ladder. It's a step ladder. What's the difference? Looks like a normal ladder to me, pal. Surely everyone knows the difference. I mean, they're pretty ordinary objects. I bet plenty of guys like you always picking out the smallest details. The vegetable store guy near me, my place, does it all the time. Even corrects me when I ask for a head of lettuce. That's a cabbage, he says. I'm telling you, they're exactly the same. No, they're not. They're completely different. You have to plant both of them firmly in the ground before you can grow them, right? Listen, you gotta take a step back and look at the bigger picture sometimes. Otherwise, you could miss a really important clue. That's advice from a pro, pal. The last person I need advice from is this guy in front of me. Hey, achievement! Get every ladder versus step ladder conversation. Yay, there's no more. Doesn't realize anything here. Hey, pal, you're gonna do it is watch the detector and let it tell you what's where, okay? Alright already. Exactly, wizard. Is there something up on the eaves? I can't tell from here, pal. Nah, just forget about it. But it's right under Alista Nim's window. And it's the perfect spot for hiding something long and thin like a sword. I'll go take a look. Ah, it was nothing, thank goodness. Just someone dropped a spoon. Who drops a spoon on an eve? Why are you so happy about that? Well, imagine if the murder weapon had turned up there. It made me look pretty dumb, huh? At least he recognizes that much. This must be an old panhandle or something. How do you know that? Huh? What? That was my nickname in junior high. What? Panhandle? I didn't have much money back then, pal. I used to bum stuff off the other kids sometimes, so they called me Panhandler. Panhandler, huh? I can see that. Thinking back, it's actually kind of a nice memory now. Right. That's odd. The sled's made of plastic. It says bikini number 1 on the side. Maybe there's something under it. Hey, what's this? A badge? Aha! I've been hunting right high and low for that. It's yours, detective? This thing's priceless to a guy like me, pal. A cop can't be a cop without this badge. I'm glad I put that dime in there now. How did you manage to drop your badge here of all places? I know! I bet it happened this morning. I was playing around with the sled and... Stop right there. I don't need to hear any more. Just a pair of skis. Nothing useful for our case here. I'm actually pretty good on skis, you know, pal. I just love to fly down the slope with my cloak fluttering in the wind. Really? I had no idea. How good are you then? Well, I'm better on skis than I am on skates, just not as good as when I am on a snowboard. That's a pretty detailed answer. Oh, but you know what I'm best at? Making smashed potatoes or mashed potatoes and gravy. The guy's losing it. Must be the altitude. Better get back to the investigation. That Sushishito next to the golden statue wasn't the real murder weapon, pal. Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd check it again anyway. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Do you know about that sword? It's supposed to represent the multiple branches that life could take, all ending as one. Yes, I've heard something about that. You know what? I think about it sometimes. Sometimes. What kind of life I would lead if I had not joined the homicide division. You think about that kind of stuff, detective? Of course I do. I think about it a lot. Me as a traffic cop, me as a detention officer, me as the Blue Badger. There's something to be said about the humor value of Gumshoe as the Blue Badger. Looks like there's something round here buried in the ground. Don't touch that, pal. Huh? What is it? It's a trap. People set them out to catch up to detectives. They're real nasty. A trap? For detectives? You mean like those fierce chaps with sharp teeth that are supposed to snag your leg? Yeah, those! I got my finger caught in one of those once. Your finger? There was this bit of cheese and it looked so tasty. I reached out and then BAM! I'm not sure I know how to respond to a story stupidly pitiful as that. Yeah, because I was going to say, if it was a bear trap that you got your finger in, bye to your finger. This looks like a wallet. Aha! That's where it's been. Is it yours, detective? I'm always dropping it, so I put Bell on it. But you still dropped it anyway. Yeah, but now I found it again, pal. Your wallet is completely empty. Well, I drop it all the time, so I don't put money in it anymore. Then how come the metal detector picked it up? Must be because of the bell, I guess. How much is he losing in this one place? Lost his badge, lost his wallet. Next he lost his gun. This is Mr. Nim's staff, isn't it? Scientifically speaking, they're usually made of wood. But the detector is reacting to it. Yeah, but however you look at it, the thing's made of wood, right? I don't bother investigating anything unless it looks like it might be metallic. Isn't the whole point of the metal detector is to find metal where you can't see it? It's weird that this thing is causing a racket. Here, let me take a look at it. Hey, hands off. Examining evidence is a job before the... the top is coming off. Look at what you've done. You've damaged a really important piece of evidence. Ah! It's a sword. A really weird sword that you would not be able to use in any capacity because of the giant fucking curved thing at the end. That's a sword inside the staff. Is this... Could it be the murder weapon? I never guessed there'd be a sword concealed in the staffs. Or the victim's staff. They call this kind of thing a sword cane, pal. This one's a real gem, but workmanship is really something else. Thank goodness it wasn't a cane sword, or else the victim would have stabbed their own foot. I officially give up on trying to figure out how Gumshoe's mind works. If the real scene of the crime was the inner temple garden, then why was the sword used to kill the victim found in the main hall courtyard? Hey, Gumshoe, who knows about the hidden sword? No one. Even the police don't know about this until I discovered it just now. Well, as they say, there's no team in Gumshoe. Doesn't look like there are any traces of blood on it. Then I guess this isn't the murder weapon, huh? No, no, no. I'm sure someone just wiped it off after the murder. Yeah, of course. That thing's definitely the murder weapon. Great job, pal. You could also just get some luminol and spray it, but whatever. It's about the same length as the Sushi Shito, too. This must be the murder weapon. Okay, I'm going to run over to forensics. There's got to be some traces of blood left, even if the most of it has been wiped off. See you later, pal. Goodbye. Every case is going to be airtight. Every case is going to be airtight. Wait up, detective. Huh? What is it, pal? I'm a pretty busy guy right now, you know? You're going to get that stuff analyzed, right? Would you mind holding off just a little while? Huh? What are you talking about, pal? Please, just until we find Maya. Maya? What's this got to do with her? I don't know, but I'm starting to get a really bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Oh, how so? Look, Maya's trapped inside the sacred cavern right now, and... well, we don't even know if she's okay or not. The more evidence and testimony I hear, the more uneasy I feel. You don't think Maya's been Please, detective, just wait until we can get inside the sacred cavern. You're looking kind of viridian there. Okay, okay, just stop it with the face, pal. One thing, though. The stash secret trick, let's keep it between you and me, alright? If it gets out that we already knew about it and didn't say anything, we're finished. I understand. This is just a regular run-of-the-mill staff, you got it? Okay, now you take good care... Now you take good care of it, pal. Thank you, detective. Don't worry, she'll be fine. Gumshoe. You know there's a place at the base of the mountain that has some really good pasta. How about I take you there when you find Maya, huh, pal? Sure, thanks. With the money that you don't have, sure. Can't help but wonder, though. What was Elise O'Nim doing with a staff like this in the first place? She was prepared to fight the person that was going against them in a battle to the death. But alright, time to move. Now, we can either go back to Pearls and try to get her to break, or we can go find Edgeworth and get him to break. Because I don't think we have enough for Iris yet. But I might be wrong on that. Granted, Edgeworth isn't about making him to break any psych locks. It's just so then he'll tell us more information. So I guess we could probably go there first. Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know that Iris had a twin sister? What? A twin? You can't be serious. Sister McKinney told me, but the problem is she didn't know the name of this twin. There was nothing about Iris having a sister in the files I checked. Well, Iris was taken by the temple when she was really young. Apparently her sister was raped by her father, a jeweler, I think. A jeweler? Right. I just might know who this twin sister of hers is. I had a feeling you'd say that. And let me guess. Her name is Dahlia Hawthorne, right? Yes, exactly. Please tell me what you know about her, Edgeworth. Please. It was my first court case 6 years ago. I was a greenhorn, and due to my inexperience, the defendant died. You're talking about Terry Falls, right? You know about that case? You're not the only one who noticed something about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne. I checked one of Mia's old files from 6 years ago. Yes, Dahlia was a key witness in that case. Dahlia and Terrier Falls conspired together to stage a fake kidnapping 11 years ago. Splish. They stole a jewel worth $2 million from Dahlia's father, a jeweler. And 5 years after that, she murdered her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne, to keep her from talking. So I'm guessing it's more stepsister than actual sister then. Because the guy got remarried or something. But then she's older. Her sister. Well, her stepsister, actually. They weren't blood related. Valerie was the... Yeah, I was right. Stepsister, I was right. Valerie was the only daughter of Dahlia's father's second wife. Oh, and this is when she entered my life. The woman who tried to kill me. So, after Terry Falls died, what happened to Dahlia? Did you check that out? Does it really matter? Like I said, Dahlia isn't connected with this case. Why are you so sure about that? It's simple. Dahlia Hawthorne is dead. What? Well, her metabolic processes are a matter of interest only to historians, so to speak. How did she die? I thought she was just in prison. What do you mean by Dahlia Hawthorne is dead, Edgeworth? Right. I must confess that in reading her file, I came to know of the murder case you were involved in during your college years. Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, thanks to the persistence of Mia Fey. Mia Fey, Mia Fey. You can go back and watch the thing when I did the actual voice acting for this. I'm just gonna... Whenever it does a flashback we've already seen, I'm gonna be like that weird, ethereal voice. At that time, Dahlia... It's like she was possessed by a demon or something. It's been almost 5 years since that guilty verdict was handed down, and her sentence has been finally carried out. She was executed last month. Executed? I'm sure that's a bit of a shock for you, Mr. Wright. Or Wright, and for more reasons than one. But do you understand now? She can't possibly be connected with this case. She's dead, and once someone is dead, there's no way to revive them. There's no way to revive the dead? I wonder. It seems you're not aware of one other connection yet, Edgeworth. And what is that? It's about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne's mother. What's their mother got to do with any of this? She's Morgan Fay, a spirit medium from a branch family of the Corain channeling technique. Did you say Corain channeling technique? Do you know something about it? Oh, yes. I know it's connected with that fraudulent spirit medium. Fraudulent? I was involved in another nightmare 17 years ago. I was caught up in the middle of a murder investigation. The police didn't have any leads. And they were stumped, and that's when they called her in. She was a very famous spirit medium and the master of the Corain channeling technique. But do you know what happened? As a result of her efforts, an innocent man was accused of murder. She and her powers, they were all fraudulent. Edgeworth, go to the police record room. It's all there. All you have to do is check the DL6 incident case file and you'll know. Dude, we literally defended you in that case. Looked it up and showed what actually happened. You should know we already know all this. Of course, how could I forget, even though it's been mentioned multiple times in this one stream? Edgeworth was the victim in that case. Edgeworth, you'll understand someday. And then you'll see that the crane channeling technique is real. You know, there is something weird about this game. The third game in the series. It's like some characters have regressed. Like Edgeworth in the second game went out and he said that Prosecutor Edgeworth chooses death. And then when he came back like a learned man. He was there to find the truth, all that stuff, and he had made some sort of piece of what happened. Now that we're playing the third game, it's like he's gotten back to what he was. Just with a slight going towards what he was going. Like he's going through the same journey again, but he's actually here and we're seeing it. So it's a little odd, just gonna say, but... What do you think about this, Edgeworth? Sorry, right, I'm defense attorney, prosecutor, blah, 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 blah. Alright, well, bye. Take that! Let's see if I can do you. The night of the crime. I think it's time you told me the truth about what you were doing on that night. You said you were in your room at the Hazakura Temple the entire time. Do you still claim that to be the truth? Yes, that's where I was. Iris, I believe you're innocent. That's why I want to believe that what you're telling me too, but I can't. Because this person saw you somewhere else the night of the murder. Take that! I'm talking about Sister Bikini, of course. Sister Bikini. Her testimony in court today was very clear. Oh, that night I was in acolyte training in the temple, but, well, as you can see, my backlines have attacked out violently, so I selected blah, 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 Hazakura Temple. Okay. I need to know, is my chat not actually showing my chat? Because I'm worried that it's actually not working. One moment. I see nothing there, so I don't think so. Must just be me then. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Checking this. Yeah, everything seems fine. Right. Sis Bikini didn't just see you, she spoke with you. You two talked about Maya's training that night. So you see, Iris, you were here at the Inner Temple on the night of the murder. That's very impressive, Mr. Wright. The Acolyte's actual training was due to start after 10 o'clock that night. I left the main hall early so I wouldn't be late. What time was that? Let me see. It takes about 20 minutes to walk between the main hall and the Inner Temple. So I would have left about 9:40 p.m., I think. I'm sorry, Iris, but lying just doesn't suit you. Huh? Now you say you left at 9:40, but that's what you say doesn't add up with this. Take that! Your own testimony. You yourself testified to the contrary, don't you remember? You said you rang the lights out bell at 10 o'clock that night. Only moments before you rang that bell, you were seen at the main hall by the most reliable witness I have. Who's that? Me. Mr. Wright. We even spoke a little that evening. That's when you gave me this. Surely you haven't forgotten. No, that's right. I remember. And that brings us to another puzzling fact, Iris. At 10 o'clock on the night of the murder, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. It's time you told me exactly what's been going on, Iris. So far, I've managed to prove 2 things. First, on the night of the incident, you were at the Inner Temple. And second, at the exact same time, you were ringing the bell at Hazakura Temple. There's only one possible explanation for this possibility. There were two of you! Sure, that's probably the only way we can explain this, because she can't be at the Hazakura Temple while also being at the inner temple. Other than that. On the night of the incident, there seems to have... You were seen in two different places at the same time, which means there must have been two of you. I can't think of any other explanation, Iris. But that's crazy! How could that be? There's only one of me, it's impossible. Impossible? I wonder. The way you're trembling certainly seems to suggest otherwise. Oh? It's such a stupid noise. You're seriously trying to suggest there's more than one of me? Then show me evidence. Show me something that proves there is more than one of me. I now have this. Bam! I have a firm grasp of the situation now, Iris. You have a sister, don't you? A twin sister, perhaps? That's right, Dahlia Hawthorne, a woman I know only too well. I had no idea you knew of her. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. But she's no longer... Yes, I know. Her sentence was carried out recently, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Thank you. There's no need to explain now, is there, Iris? The second Jew who was here at the temple on the night of the murder. It was your twin sister, Dahlia Hawthorne. But you just said it yourself a second ago. My sister's dead. Have you forgotten that? Have you forgotten this, Iris? This is the channeling dojo, a training ground for the Korean channeling technique. That night, someone channeled Dahlia's spirit, and you knew about it. And that's the secret you've been trying to hide from me. Ah! I win! Get down! Bow at my power! Just think, like, Franziska is still here, and she's like, what the hell is going on? I was in my room in the main hall that night. As soon as I heard that I'd been spotted at the temple, I knew. I knew it was my sister, Dahlia, the other half of me who passed away last month. Just as I suspected. The Iris that Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple on the night of the murder. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because my sister always does the right thing. Hey, Rafatron. I'm just glad you're here still, even if you've missed some of it. Welcome. Excuse me? Because I mustn't get in the way of what she's trying to do. I already betrayed her once before. I can't do it again. You betrayed her? What do you mean? That's why I have to accept that I may be found guilty. It's the only way. What is she talking about? You know about it, don't you, Mr. Wright? About the fake kidnapping that took place here on the Eagle Mountain 11 years ago? But that was the start of it all. It was what started her down that twisted path. Wait, I need to save. 1 second, I need to be... I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to go quickly check something. Okay, sounds good. Put back up. Save again, just in case. I don't want to end up losing progress if it still does it. She started to commit crime after crime, and in the end, she lost her life. It's all because I betrayed her. How did you betray her, Iris? It was no coincidence that Eagle Mountain is where the exchange was to take place. After all, I helped plan the whole thing. What? I got scared, so I ran away. What are you talking about? Why would you help her? Stealing $2 million from your own father? That's awful. But I promised. I promised that I'd help. And she didn't do it for the money. What? It was revenge on our father. Revenge? What do you mean by revenge? He was a hideous man. He threw our mother away and then sent her to hell. Her mother? She must be talking about Morgan Fay. Her mother was the eldest daughter of the main branch of the Fay family. The main family had a lot of influence in many business and political circles at the time because, you know, as you do. I still think this is really stupid. Oh, we have a medium that is able to speak to spirits. Let's put them behind political masters so that they can just dictate how the country's run. Even though they live in, like, ancient times and have really antiquated ideas of how people should be. As the eldest daughter, our mother was set to inherit all of that as the next master. That's the reason our father married our mother in the first place, for power. But his plan backfired. Because of our mother's sister took it all from her. She took over as the master of Karain. That would be Misty Faye, Maya's mother. But before long, the credibility of the Karain tradition hit rock bottom. The new master, Mystic Misty Faye, had made a terrible mistake. It was during the investigation of the DL6 incident. After that happened, our father took me and my twin sister away, leaving our mother and our home behind. He hated the place. He said it was a hick dive and that he had no reason to stay there. And that's when you came here to Hazakura Temple? Yes. The woman my father took as his next wife already had a daughter, Valerie. I had no place in the new family, you see. Oh. And I haven't seen my mother once since then. Having the master seek stolen from her and being rejected by her own family, I heard she's been very battered spiritually and emotionally. I think I'm finally beginning to see how the pieces fit together. She's been gaslit this whole time. Oh, man. Literally, she's been told that, the family has been treating her poorly and all this other stuff. It's like, no, she has not. If anything, she was just treated even more reverently. She just isn't the master of the family. And then she ended up trying to kill someone and frame someone else. So, you know, not a good thing. I have asked her everything I can in my capacity as prosecutor. This incident, everything related to it goes back to the history of the Fear clan. That's what it looks like. Iris, there's just one more thing I want you to tell me. What is it? During the incident in which your sister Dolly Hawthorne poisoned a lawyer, she began a relationship with a certain college student in order to hide the evidence. That college student, have you heard anything about him? Well, I did hear one thing. She said she hated his guts. I see. Thank you for your help. You're welcome. Hurry up, Phoenix Wright. You're still in so much to investigate. Leave these locks to me. I'll open them for you. I promise. Thank you. I suppose I better continue my investigation. There's still one giant secret left to unlock. Pearl's Psycholock. Psychlock. God damn it. Playing as Edgeworth and him calling them Psycholocks is like just poisoned the actual word now. So it's like, why not tell her that she has a younger sister as well now? Or like the fact that she's been gaslit her whole life about her mother. Iris's life sucks, man. Ugh. Look at that. They really did make a fire right in front of the shack. Oh, Mr. Nick. You're too late, Nick. If you came here for one of our potatoes, we've already polished them all off. I think I've pretty much got all the evidence I need. Now I just need to find out what Pearls is hiding. Pearls, I am here to destroy you. Utterly. Whee! The night of the crime. After the dinner on the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Lisa's Donim's room, reading a book together, correct? Yes, I was so happy when she invited me. But I didn't get to go in the end. You didn't go? No, there was somewhere else I had to go instead. was so worried I had to go. Oh, the devs did enough of that already. Hi, Sean, by the way. I was so worried I had to go. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so nervous. So Pearls never went to Mr. Nim's room because she was too worried about something or someone else? Pearls, on the night of the murder, you went to this place, didn't you? The Inner Temple! You went here, didn't you, Pearls? Looks like she's still not going to open up to me. This is where you went because you were so worried, right? The next question is, who or what were you so worried about? Now, I'm going to take a guess, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or right, okay? You mean you know? How long have I been going for? About an hour. If I'm right, will you tell me the whole truth? Okay. You went to this place for this very simple reason. This is... Take that! Maya. It's obvious why you were so worried about Pearls. It was Maya, wasn't it? You knew the training Maya was undertaking was dangerous. After all, it was all the special course. I signed up for the special course. Well, my, quite brave of you considering how cold it is. No people can be so reckless with their health. Don't blame me if you become one with those channel. Oh, you Sister Bikini scared you with what she said, didn't she? Because of it, because it was you who introduced Hazakura Temple to Maya in the first place, you felt responsible, didn't you? Thinking about what could have happened to Mystic Maya made me more and more worried. I couldn't sit still. That's why I decided to go and find out what she was doing at the Inner Temple. Or how she was doing. Then we're clear now that you went to the Inner Temple that night, Pearls. What's not clear is what happened after that. About what time was it when you headed over to the Inner Temple? It was probably around 9:30 when I left the main hall. I heard the real training was supposed to start at 10. I wanted to get there before it started. But there was so much snow, I didn't get there until around after 10. Till after 10? How did you know what time it was? Because I heard the bell ringing for lights out. She heard the lights out bell? The Hazakura Temple's bell, pretty small though, isn't it? You must have been really good hearing. Must have. I was really trying to pick up the sound of the bell, that's all. I don't want to miss it before. If I miss it, that would be terrible. She was trying to hear the bell? Tell me, Pearls, why were you so worried about hearing that bell? Huh? Oh, I think I know the reason you were so worried about the bell. Because of this! I don't know why, but when I said it like that, I just imagine like Phoenix taking out the evidence and like rubbing it in her face. It's like, because of this, wasn't it, Pearls? Take it! This is what you this is what you were doing. Take that! You were given some instructions to follow for that night, weren't you? I presume you recognize these pieces of papers? Ah! Where did you... In the incinerator at the Inner Temple. Pearls, you were following the instruction in this letter that night, weren't you? That's why you couldn't afford to miss the sound of the lights out bell. I'm speechless, Mr. Nick. You're amazing. These instructions that were found in the incinerator, I believe they were written for you, Pearls. For me, No. As you can see, a large portion has been burned, but the last section is still fairly legible. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Who was it, Pearls? Whose spirit were you supposed to be channeling? Taking into account the author of the note and their purpose for writing it, whose spirit would Pearls have been trying to channel? Don't overthink it, Phoenix. It's pretty obvious who Pearls was supposed to channel. The person you were trying to channel this night, Pearls, was... Well, that night. It was me! I'm dead! It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? That was the name that was in the letter. It's just as I suspected. It wasn't Iris whose Sister Bikini met at the Inner Temple that night. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you know anything about her, Pearls? Do you know what kind of woman Dahlia Hawthorne was? No. I've never heard of anyone by that name before reading these instructions. I thought so. Pearls doesn't have a clue. She does not know that Dahlia is her sister. Which sucks. I want her to have a family, okay? Why can't she just have a happy family? Why does everyone have to have a fucked up fucking parent or something? God. About the instructions in the letter I found, Pearls. Who wrote them? Whoever it was that asked you to channel the spirit of someone you never heard of. You must have had quite a lot of respect for them. After all, you followed their instructions without question. So here's my next question. Who wrote that set of instructions for you to follow?
Take that!
It's obvious. Pearls. I have to wonder about something. You didn't have any idea what the instructions meant, did you? That's supposed to be a heartbeat, but I guess I'll just go, ba-dump. A dead family still counts as a family, right? But you followed them to the letter regardless. Why? Because it was your own mother who asked you, that's why. How did you know? I figured it out. The person who wrote you this letter was your own mother, Morgan Fay. Alright, Pearls. It's time you started telling me the truth. And stop whining! Stop crying! You belong to me now! Mr. D, Why is she holding back from me? I don't like this. But don't underestimate me just because I'm a child. Huh? If you're trying to say I followed these instructions, then I'd see some proof. What? Because I don't think you have any... Didn't say anything rather than admit to carrying out those instructions. Well, she said anything. I guess I'll have to produce some more evidence then. One more thing should do it. Alright, Pearls. We both know someone carried out these instructions on the night of the murder. But you're right, there's no evidence that proves it was you. I knew it. However, I do know whoever did this was a child. Huh? How do you know that? It couldn't have been an adult. No adult would have made a simple mistake like that. A simple mistake? What do you mean by that? I'm sure you thought you were carefully following the instructions you'd given, but you misunderstood some of the words, and this is the evidence that proves it. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. It's probably exactly what I said earlier.
Take that!
It was you who splattered gravy on the hanging scroll, wasn't it? What? Why would I do something like that? Do you remember what was written in that letter? Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition? But you don't know how to read those words. Gravely and roast, among others, right? How do you know that? Remember the conversation you had with Mr. O'Nim on the night of the murder? Perhaps we could read some books together. Really? I'd love to. I don't know, I'm very good at reading. Ha ha ha. Well then, you would like to practice reading with me? Miss Lees, for example, the Scooby-Doo would read this. It says gravely. That's kind of a tough word. Wait, did she show her the actual list she got? Sure, Mr. Neem taught you how to read gravely and roast. But what she didn't teach you is what they meant. Gravely sounds like gravy to me, and the only roast I could think of was the food. And that's why you did it. That's why you covered the picture of the master in gravy from that night's pot roast. To be honest, I did think it was a bit strange. I guess I really did get the wrong idea. Just a tiny bit. I really am useless. I couldn't even burn the letter properly as my mother asked me to. Such a simple thing. I couldn't even do it right. I have broken the little girl. After dinner that night, I did go to the inner temple with a pot full of leftover gravy. The gravy? I saw the picture on the hanging scroll near the sacred cavern. I was sure it was the master of the crane, like it said in the letter. I see. And then? Well, it was already way past 10 when I got there because of all the snow, so I went to the inner temple guest area. The guest area? Yes, I thought I could wait there until the training was over. Why didn't you just go to the training hall? because Mystic Maya's main training had already started and I couldn't interrupt it. So I just stayed there where I was until I prayed for her to get through it. But then Pearls, did you fall asleep? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help it. Hey, don't worry about it, Pearl. Who cares if you fell asleep? I actually forgot you were here. I fell asleep waiting too for Iris. It happens. Anyway, then you found yourself trapped in the inner temple? Yes. When I woke up, it was morning. I tried not to cry, but Dusky Bridge wasn't there anymore and there was no one in the training hall. I thought everyone had left me because I overslept. I threw the letter in the incinerator and then I heated up the leftover gravy and... spleesh! And left some off from my steam by chucking the gravy onto the scroll while you cried. Oh yeah, I'm not... This is his thoughts. Whatever. His thoughts are now just Pearls in his mind. It must have been pretty scary for you, Pearl. I know what it's like. Nick used to leave me behind when I fell asleep at school too. Don't equate something so trivial with her experience, Larry. You know, yeah, because it's like, oh, don't be afraid. I know it's bad when someone dies. Like, I kill people in games all the time. I always feel bad about it. It was written right in my mother's letter. It said, as soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. I was on my way over to the inner temple when I heard the bell ring. So you channeled Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit? No, I tried, but I couldn't do it. You couldn't do it? I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. I tried and I tried and I tried. Yesterday, this morning, the whole time. But I just couldn't do it. But don't let it down, Pearl. It'll work out. If you want, I'll come flying through the sky for you. Whoosh, just like that. So she never managed to channel the spirit. Is that why you think your spiritual powers are gone? Yes, I don't know what to do. Isn't there any other explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? I suppose there's one other possibility. It's not very likely, though. Could you please tell me what it was anyway? It could happen if someone else had already channeled the same spirit. Someone else? What do you mean? Well, there's only one of each spirit, right? Yep, it's like dating a girl. Nick, you can't see a hot chick if she's already taken. Larry, can you just shut the hell up? Seriously. Then that would mean that the night of the murder, someone else channeled her spirit before Pearls could. Someone else channeled the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a failure. I couldn't even grant my mother's final wish. Her final wish? Yes, this letter. This is my last wish, she said. So make sure you follow the instructions carefully. This letter. I definitely need to find out more about it. The mother has gone to a place called a penitentiary. Yeah, I know, Pearls. I visit her every month. And last month she told me, the time has come, for the waiting is come. What? The time we've been waiting for has come, Pearl. Oh, this is a flashback we haven't seen yet. I can't remember her voice, so I'm just going to do it this one. There's something I need you to do for me. I hid a letter for you at our home before they brought me here. I want you to read it and do exactly what it says. It's for the good of the Faye family, my angel. You'll be doing a great thing. Now, listen carefully and I'll tell you where the letter's hidden. Mother is always so nice to me. I love her very much. Oh, Pearls. Oh. Oh. It's too bad that your mother's such a bitch. Ah. Yeah, moms will do anything for their kids, right? She said it was for the good of the Fae clan, so I knew I had to help her. I mean, Mystic Maya's part of the Fae clan, so it had to be good for her, too. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Nick? I guess so, yeah. How about instead of continually to make it seem as though everything that she does that her mother tells her to do is the good thing to do, you actually tell her the truth so she knows the consequences of the actions and shows the truth of what her mother is. Yes, childlike innocence, got it. But this is literally put someone's life at risk and gotten someone killed because of this. You can't just go, yeah, fine, it's whatever. No. At some point, you gotta let kids know that there are consequences to the choices and decisions that they make. And not everyone's gonna be good. Because then this shit won't happen. Anyway, there was a picture with her in the letter too. Picture of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Usually a picture is enough to channel someone's spirit, but this time... Pretty weird, huh? Like Larry knows anything about this stuff. There's something else that was strange about my mother's letter. The seal on it was broken as if it had already been opened once before. That sure is pretty strange. Someone had opened it already? Burnt letter updated to the court record. Thanks, Pearls. You really helped me out. You're very welcome. My mother is watching over us, so I'm sure Mystic Maya will be all right. Look at that innocent smile on her face. What am I supposed to say to her? The truth! Whatever. Just move on. Huh. Oh, it's you. Finally figured it out, have you, Trite? You finally realized how terrible of a crime being painfully oblivious is. Godot! The entrance to the Sacred Cavern looks like a freaking puzzle workshop. I guess he's talking about Iris and the lock-breaking effort? But it's all a waste of time. Why do you say that? Because Maya Fey isn't coming back. What? You don't know what you're talking about. How can you say something like that? It was your job to protect her, Trite. Just like it was your job to protect Mia Fey. I agree, but Maya's in danger currently. Last thing you want to tell her is that her mom's an asshole. True, true. After this, I need to have a discussion. Two sisters caught up in the worst circumstances. I realize that, but you were the only one who was by their side. You were the only one who could have saved them. But I didn't know anything about what was going on. Huh. What did I just say, Trite? Being oblivious is a heinous crime in itself. Tomorrow, we'll settle everything in court tomorrow, once and for all. Mr. Nick? Is what that man just said true? It'll be alright, Pearls. I'm sure Maya's alive. You'll see for yourself tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. I know I can trust you, Mr. Nick. And then it turns out Maya's dead. Oh, God. My dear Pearl. You've done so well, my child. My Pearl. It's better that you don't know what you've done. I knew this day would come for you. The blood of the main family is no more. Now, finally, after all this time, the master seat is yours. My last great wish. It seems I was just in time. Can you go away? I don't like you. Woo! Now it's time for the next part of the trial, I think. Part 4-1. Oh boy. We've got 30 minutes left. I think we can go a little bit into this. Let's do it. February 10th, 9:39 a.m. Good morning. Oh, are you by yourself? Morning, Pearls. Mr. Nick, please tell me, what's going to happen to Mystic Maya? I'm sorry, we don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed inside the temple. Oh, I see. So is Sister Iris still trying to remove those trick locks in the training hall? No, she's the defendant in this case, so she can't be at the temple. She's required to be here in court. Then how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby? I have to admit, it's kind of strange. If you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. Oh, it's you. Okay. Edgeworth. What's Iris doing over there? She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak. Today's testimony? You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Wait, what? The prosecution is squeezing her for a confession, or so I heard. Francisca von Karma, what are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Francisca isn't going to be the prosecutor today. What? Then who is? Who else would it be but Godot? Godot? Francisca is engaged. Oh, so I thought I said enraged first. In some important work at the Sacred Cavern. Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She's been out there all night trying to remove those trick locks. With the head nun's assistance, naturally. We estimate that the last of the locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and we receive some good news soon. Yeah, thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me that. Touché. I already see it in your eyes. You're not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac you were yesterday. It's strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all this. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I felt myself getting stronger. Interesting. You have become a super lawyer. And maybe you've passed your cold on to someone else. Literally. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable hands. Partner. Ooh, partner. Ooh. Thanks. I can trust on you more than I can trust on Larry. I still don't have any answer for the most riddles plaguing the case. The circumstances around the murder of Miss Celeste and him. No, I mean Mr. Fay. The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. And what that woman is really after. Partner. Oh my, write that down. I will solve them all and bring an end to this whole tragedy. 10 a.m. Hey, it's the better guy. I'm glad we don't have that stupid Scotland man. Ugh. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris, the Hazakura Temple. Your Honor? What are you... Who, me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. Yay! Although it's odd that he's your brother, but yay! I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. It doesn't really, because they're nothing alike. I vastly prefer this one. My poor brother. He looked a bit pale, not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. It's impossible to predict the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people have to feel the need to judge the past. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godot. I understood exactly what you said, at least up until the end, anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There's only one thing that remains a constant in this crazy world. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. So then you mean, forget it. What do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. Today, she has had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant? Iris, why didn't she discuss this with me first? Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. My name is Iris. I am but a simple nun undergoing training at Hazakura Temple. Witness, is there something that you want to confess to? Yes, but first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I cannot continue lying to everyone anymore. It's alright. What is it? Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident. Are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Donim? No, I'm not, Your Honor. But I dealt with the cover-up, and the murder took place after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mr. Elise and carried to Hazakura Temple courtyard, where I desecrated it. What? Order in the court. Order. Witness, are you... Are you saying you were an accomplice to the murder? Yes, that's correct. What? Three minutes in court and I've already covered in a cold sweat. Everyone on the planet is accomplice to something. It just happens to be, in this case, it's murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite? That Godot. So this is the confession that they were conferring about. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris' testimony was all a lie. Crumpled up and shoved into pocket. Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions? Iris was covering for someone? Now I'm definitely up the creek without a paddle or a life jacket. I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Korean tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family. I'm sorry, but main family? Still can't meet 10 minutes against Von Karma. True. Yes, and that's why I would dirty myself if need be to protect her. The daughter of the master Korean channeling technique, Mystic Maya Fey. Huh? Wake up and smell the coffee, Trite. She's naming Maya? Order in the court. It's real to see when you know the truth. Yeah. So not only did you witness the murder, but you know the name of the murderer? I'm terribly sorry. It's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her. But that's ridiculous. Maya could never do such a... The defense will remain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened the night of the crime? Yes, Your Honor. I thought I was prepared for the unexpected, but I never imagined the case would wind up going up in this direction. Ba-ba-bum. I went to the inner temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it. Does this technically make it the third time we're defending Maya? I think it's technically the fourth time. First time we met her, from Mia. Second time... Second time was in the second game. I think there was a third time in the second game, but I can't remember. Regardless, she at this point, we need to not take her along anymore because she just keeps getting in trouble. So it was in self-defense. Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya. You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya couldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. Got the instincts of a true criminal. Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. And that person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. Sister Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated yesterday that on the night of the murder you didn't go to the inner temple.
Objection!
Did she now? Too bad for you, what she said yesterday doesn't mean much today. By the way, where were you when she claimed when she didn't go? I was in the inner temple's training hall. A private conversation between two of you does not constitute testimony. That would be properly described as hearsay. What do you have to say, witness? I just couldn't tell him the truth at that time. Mystic Maya, she's your girlfriend, isn't she? Whoa, what? I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder. There, we all understand how difficult this is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. There. Anyway, moving on. What did you witness in the temple guard? Well, Your Honor.
Hold it!
You're saying that the victim attacked Miss Faye? Yes, it was a truly frightening scene. Mystic Maya was struck hard on the head and looked like she was about to collapse. What are you doing at the time? Why did you stop them from fighting? I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock. It's perfectly understandable, my dear. This doesn't sound right. I don't believe this testimony for a minute. What happened after that?
Hold it!
She moved in to deliver a fatal strike? Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon. Wait a minute. What was this weapon? It was some kind of dagger. A dagger, huh? And the least on him tried to stab her with this weapon? To kill Miss Faye? Yes, exactly. Huh. You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swig of Worcester sauce. Do you have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy? Okay, I'm gonna have to change up the voice again. The problem here is that we're not allowed to tell anyone about the staff, so we can't say that it was a sword. Iris is my client. I better not press her too hard. The defense has no objections to Miss Iris' testimony. Huh. You should try some nice sweet cafe con lèche at least once, Trite. Well, very well, let's continue with your testimony. What happened to Miss Faye when she was attacked by the victim?
Hold it!
And then Mystic Maya, she turned things around and she used the weapon she had taken and lunged forward for a strike. Gumshoe. Gumshoe said that we can't show it, or at least say that we have it, because it hasn't been brought to court yet, or whatever. I think it was like when we first found it, we said, can you not bring that in until we figured out stuff? And he was like, okay, but we can't tell anyone about it because otherwise we would get in trouble. So I don't think I can bring it up yet. But if I'm wrong about that, then I'll just do it. Witness, are you absolutely certain? Yes, but believe me, she had no choice. If Mystic Maya hadn't done something, Maya Faye's name would have been written on this autopsy report instead. Yes, I see. This is bad. I still can't put the pieces together. Unless I find a contradiction in her testimony, Maya's going to get blamed for this. I only have this to say. So you're saying Maya Faye was the one who stabbed Miss Elise O'Nim? Sister Iris, is that really what you saw? Yes?
Objection!
Tis trite. If your mug was filled with black and bitter suspicion, the only way to get rid of them is to drink them down quick. Like this. I know that's supposed to be a metaphor, but I don't get it. There's only one thing you need to get, trite. It's called evidence. Now hurry up before my next cup gets cold. What does that mean? Is Godot waiting for me to point out the contradictions? I like to avoid the whole spirit channeling thing if I can. Not only would it be inadmissible as evidence, but I think it might actually hurt our standing with the judge, even though we have done a case that was all about spirit channeling and was proven to be true. We're now not going to show it because it now apparently isn't true. First, I need to pick some testimony apart and expose the natural sounding parts. I don't know why Iris would tell a story like this, but there are two things I noticed that just don't add up. Alright, well, I'm going to save, and just to be on the safe side, I am going to press on the weapon. Blah, 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 blah. There is one thing. Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony. You do? This witness is your own client. Yes, well, nevertheless. That's fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony. Yes, sir. Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. Listen, Gramps. I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Okay. Now, let's continue. So it did get added. Screw it.
Objection!
Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events. Huh? Mr. Nim throwing her staff away makes no sense at all to me. But all you can do with a staff is hit someone. A staff can be just as dangerous as a sword if you use it right. Naturally, you wouldn't know about this. I know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. If Elisa Nim really had wanted to kill Maya Fey, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. I had a Freudian slip there. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say? That was a bit of investigating, Trite. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this? A long sword is unwieldy, and thus ineffective in close quarters. But what the hell are you talking about? A long sword is specifically designed for close quarters combat. What the hell are you on about? What? It is not unwieldy. If it was unwieldy, people wouldn't have used them. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over the blade. Well... Anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with our testimony. But there's something strange about this whole testimony. It means a sword... a long sword has long... He means a long sword has long in length. I mean, even if that's the case, you can still kill someone with it. Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point. Very well, Your Honor. The defense will now present evidence to back his argument. Mr. Wright, I have here another piece of evidence that shows that the testimony can't be trusted. Because Mr. Lisa Nim would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. Because it's her daughter. What do I present for that?
Take that!
I guess this? Well, Miss Godot, if you ask me, the only thing that seems so strange is the angle of Mr. Trite's index finger. Eh? Trite, sticking your finger in an electrical outlet might be safer for you. Otherwise, it might get bitten off by the next time you poke it at the wrong place. Owie. I still don't think Mr. Nim would ever attack Maya. If you think about it, the relationship is obvious. Why don't you think it over one more time? Very well, Your Honor. The defense will now present your arguments. Mr. Wright, blah, blah. I guess I have to present herself?
Take that!
Yeah, I guess so. Elisa Nim would never have attacked Maya Fey. How can you be so sure? Because the victim's real name was not Elisa Nim. Her real name was Misty Fey. Fey? No. Not Mystic Misty Fey. Who is this Misty Fey? Is she related to... Misty Fey is the master of the Korean channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey. Are you serious? Is it really true, Mr. Wright? Was Elisa Nim really the great Mystic Misty? There's no doubt about it. It looks like Iris had no idea. I can hardly believe it. The idea that she would try to kill her own daughter, one she hadn't seen in 17 years. Perhaps... Oh, God, that was loud. What the hell? What the fuck? That was the loudest this game has been. Perhaps the prosecution can offer some kind of explanation for why she would do such a thing. Order in the court. Upon first hearing the witness testimony, it seemed natural enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented, one, that the victim supposedly threw away his sword during a fight, and two, that the two people battling to the death were mother and daughter. Despite the facts being believable when taken on their own, when taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. Listen, there's nothing in this world that is impossible. Except for one little thing. Yes, what is this one little impossible thing? Ha! Still don't get it. You think maybe my beans are under-roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps. Could you get to your point? I heard this witness's confession this morning. Just as I had taken the first sips of my 8th cup of coffee this morning. You're going to ruin your health, my friend. He's right. Drinking too much coffee is bad for you. I literally have a very close friend that had drunk a lot of coffee in their life, and it's kind of ruined their body in a sense. I feel, so drinking too much of something is going to be bad. Like you drink too much water, you can, what's it called? You can drown yourself. If you have too much sugar, you can give yourself a heart attack or brain, aneurysm or something. You spend too much time in the sun, you get sunburned. Too much of a good thing or something that you like is a bad thing. You're going to ruin your health, my friend. Anyway, after hearing the woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty. Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing? Obviously, Your Honor. But do you notice something else? Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there's blood on it. Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene. You weren't looking hard enough, I bet he's going to say. Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene? Huh? The pine tree? This dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree when the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two women. This little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree. Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct? Huh. Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken the sip of my 13th cup of coffee. That's a lie! It was the 8th! Did you just say it was the 8th just a few minutes ago? I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on such short notice. In any case, the court will accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I order that a blood test be performed on it immediately. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately. The blood is being analyzed now. Now then, the testimony we just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible. Cute girls never lie, ever. That is bullshit, okay? A lot of people lie. Just because they're cute does not mean that they don't lie. Look at Pearls! She lied! She lies all the time. In any case, witness, if you could please testify again to this court. About what, Your Honor? About the incident you saw, the battle between the two women. The fierce battle between mother and daughter at the final hour. Yes, Your Honor. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff, but then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive, with her back to the stone lantern. And And then the screen flashed red. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. That was a very heartbreaking story. Sure, we'll go with that. I don't know if there was any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Mystic Misty's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore. I doubt that. That seems reasonable. Now then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Because we know that Maya had trouble recognizing her mother, but I doubt that her mother would have trouble recognizing her, considering she's been in the newspaper multiple times now for being convicted of murder or something. Iris, where were you standing when you witnessed all this? What do you mean? Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle. I wonder if that's true. The two of them, they were standing near the garden stone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark where the two of them were, so I think that's why they didn't see me. So it was dark in the garden when the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do when she was struck? True, yeah. But then she dodged. What happened to the victim's staff then? I'm not sure. The area was very dark, so I couldn't really see. I thought it got knocked away somewhere as the fight escalated. That makes sense. That would explain the need for the dagger. Mystic Elise raised the dagger to strike, but Mystic Maya dodged it at the last second. The dagger struck the lantern and fell to the ground. And then at some point, Mystic Maya picked it up. That is true, Sean. I forgot about that. They did introduce each other. Nothing sounds especially strange yet. What did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her? You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim? Yes. But Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger. I still can't believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone at knife point is just silly. Maya can't even hurt anyone. She can't even hurt herself. As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. Are you quoting Metal Gear? That is a Metal Gear Solid quote, if I ever heard one. I've never heard anyone say that, other than in that game. And then he starts shooting Metal Gear Rex in the sensor beam with his laser. Or in this case, he throws coffee at it. I believe the correct description of cornered fox is scared and petrified. Your animal allergies have grown tiresome. You were the one who started it. Anyway, so after Maya Fey backed the victim into the stone lantern, what happened next? Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw? Yes, I'm absolutely certain. Almost. The garden was dark. I couldn't really tell who was who. What did she just say? So in other words, it could have been someone else entirely.
Objection!
We know that Maya Fey was in a temple that night. I keep defaulting to that stupid gravelly voice, which just hurts my throat. And that the woman was killed by Elise Donim. Isn't it fairly obvious who attacked who? I don't have anything to counter that yet. Well, then, witness, please continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. The two of them faced each other for a moment. And Mystic Maya rushed straight into Mystic Elise. And Mystic Elise doubled over and fell to the ground. So she was stabbed in the stomach, huh? Yes, which makes no sense. Let me check the autopsy report again. Stabbed from the back. I might be doing this too early at the moment, but I'll do it here. Okay, I was right then. Something about you just isn't right today, Iris. Huh? Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony? According to you... Maya Fey stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern, correct? Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right? Yes, I think so. But according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in the back. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony like a field of wheat. Why does he have to suddenly bring in freaking plant analogies? Oh! What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Don't ask me, ask Iris. She's the one that's lying. It's simple. People are like books. We've all got our front and back, and you get my drift? Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. Could you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is, too much of this testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away useful staff, the people fighting behind being mother and daughter, and now she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach. There certainly are some inconsistencies. Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just... If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee. And to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Prosecutor Doe, explain yourself. The witness was quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. The human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light? By the way, did you know Asagora Temple has a rule that nights when an acolyte is at the inner temple training, the stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit. I did wonder what that stone lamp was there for. Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor. But according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light the stone lantern. Impossible? It hadn't been used in a long time, and the wick was no good. In other words, it had been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's all. Most enlightening. Yes, the illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. This is bullshit. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. You can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Trite? No! We know this is bullshit because we were there in the scene. We saw the remains of the torches being lit. Order, order, order! Here, Your Honor, let me present the stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind. Stone lantern, enter the record. Why is the judge just sitting there with a look on his face? What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot? This lantern, there's something written on it. Written in blood. Oh boy. So the judge didn't know about that yet. Written in blood. It says Meyer upside down. What the? Oh, yes, that's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Meyer, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have written that on the stone lantern behind her. With the blood draining out of her body. It certainly looks that way. Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what? Okay. Okay, that was my limit there. Ooh. Okay, that was not pleasant. Oh. What do you mean, what are you talking about? We're talking about the message written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, it's clear as a whistle. Could it be he can't see the bloody writing at all? Now I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. I'm going to try and speak like this now, so then I can't use that gravelly voice, because it's doing too much. I can't see it. So that's what he meant by that. In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further? Mr. Godot? Okay then, let's move on. Godot is literally shaking, and somehow, I don't think it's from the caffeine overdose. I believe it has now been established that Miss Donim was killed by Maya Fey. But that's just wrong. Now it is time to turn our attention to you. Yes, sir. After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears. Sister Iris's cover-up. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Karain tradition. So I moved the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across the Dusky Bridge. And I used the snowmobile I'd carry back to Hazakura Temple and... I used the Tsushishito to alter the way the wound looked. So you moved the body? Yes, I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal thanks to the Fae clan. But even so, I never imagined that Elise Donim was actually Misty Fae. I've committed a terrible sin. A terrible trick of fate. I believe you're looking for a twist of fate, Your Honor. I intended to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body, but... You were spotted by the head nun, correct? Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back. Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with the cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so I would usually continue from here. But we have gone at least 2 hours. I think this is a good place to stop. Also, I need to stop because my throat did not enjoy that last cough. It doesn't hurt. It's just that it's, I guess sore would be the right word. So I'm going to stop there. We'll pick this up on Friday, where we will continue on and talk some more with Iris, investigate all that stuff, do more of the trial. Tomorrow we'll be back with more Baldur's Gate 3, so looking forward to that. And like I said, we'll be back with this on Friday, so tune in for that then. But before then, thank you all for joining today. Hope you all enjoyed. As usual, like, follow, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to get notified of when our next stream, make sure you do that bell notification and make sure you have it so then it's highlighted. I think it's got like 3 settings, so sometimes you have to put it onto the all thing or something. But anyway, there's that. And if you want to help support me directly, there's links to Patreon and tips. They do help a lot, especially lately with everything that's going on. They do help a lot. So if you do want to help support me directly, there's ways through that. And if you become a patron, you get your name added to, if I can get it, where are you? This list. The list of patrons, where I thank you for the continued support. And I greatly appreciate it. And I give you a call out like I do with Hiro Rakuni. And I thank you for everything. But until next time, you take care. You all take care. Have a nice rest of the day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, bye everyone. Bye-bye.